Welcome to the deep dive, where we really try to cut through the
Point
noise.
to the core of it.
Exactly. And today we're plunging into something that feels, well, almost like science fiction crossing into politics. Elon Musk.
The rockets and cars guy?
Right. The man behind Tesla, SpaceX, now wants to reshape American politics itself. We're talking about his brand new America Party.
Just announced.
Yeah, and everyone's asking, is this for real a genuine game changer? Or is it just another sort of political spectacle that'll fade?
Flash in the pan, maybe.
And it brings up that bigger question. Why do third parties have such a hard time making a dent in the U.S.? Seriously, why? And what makes Musk think he can break that pattern?
It's a fascinating puzzle.
So that's our mission today. Let's unpack this whole thing, figure out what's going on, and give you the insights you need. Sound good?
Let's do it.
Okay, so Elon Musk. This isn't just any billionaire deciding to play politics. This is someone known for tackling, well, frankly, impossible-sounding challenges, sending rockets up, revolutionizing cars.
Right. And now, fixing the American political system, it's quite the leap.
But his involvement isn't actually brand new, is it? There's some backstory here.
Oh, definitely not new. I mean, you have to remember, going back to the 2024 campaign, he was actually the single largest individual donor to Donald Trump.
Wow, really? The largest?
Yep. We're talking nearly $300 million. And for a while, it looked like a really close alliance. Musk even had a formal role in the Trump administration.
I remember that head of government efficiency, wasn't it? Sounds very Muskian.
Exactly. Department of Government Efficiency. And it wasn't just a title. He was apparently digging into government operations, looking for waste, trying to streamline things. Imagine the data he had access to.
Unprecedented, I bet, for someone like him. A tech visionary inside the machine.
It really seemed like a unique synergy, but, well, high-profile partnerships.
They can sour quickly. And this one definitely did, very publicly. What happened there?
It all came to a head just last month, July 2025. There was this big domestic policy bill, and Musk just went after it, hammered it online.
What was his issue with it?
He called it fiscally irresponsible, said it was loaded with waste and graft and would basically bankrupt the country. Strong words.
And that led to his resignation.
Immediately. Public criticism, then resignation. But he didn't just walk away quietly. Oh, no.
No, he doubled down. Which brings us to the America Party.
Precisely. Almost right after resigning, July 5th and 6th, he used his platform X to announce it. The message was pretty blunt. Today, the America Party is formed to give you back your freedom.
Wow. Give you back your freedom. And wasn't there a poll on X just before that?
There was, yeah. He'd polled users about whether a new party was needed, and apparently a majority said yes, so he sort of laid the groundwork.
Interesting timing, too, with other discussions happening around that time, like that piece, America's Two-Party Trick. He positioned himself right in the middle of that whole debate.
Absolutely. He timed it to capture that zeitgeist, that growing frustration.
Okay, so let's talk about this America Party itself. What's it actually stand for? Musk pitches it as centrist, right? An alternative for people fed up with both sides.
That seems to be the core idea. Looking at his posts and what analysts are saying, it's definitely aiming for that middle ground.
What are the specifics, the platform points?
Well, several key themes emerge. First, big focus on national debt. He's talking responsible spending only. That clearly hits a nerve for many.
Resonates with his fiscally irresponsible critique of that bill.
Exactly. Second, something very unique to him. Modernizing the military with AI and robotics. Very tech-forward.
Of course. Makes sense for Musk.
Third, definitely pro-tech and less regulation, especially in energy. That aligns with, Tesla and his other ventures. Fourth, a really strong stance on free speech.
Which you'd expect from the owner of X.
Right. And then something a bit different. Pro-natalist policies. Actually encouraging people to have more kids.
That's unexpected in a political platform, usually.
It is. But overall, the theme is centrism. Trying to pull in those voters who feel left behind by Democrats and Republicans, appealing to the disaffected middle.
And his strategy, initially at least, isn't a full-on presidential run.
No, not immediately. He's been specific about targeting just 2 or 3 Senate seats and 8 to 10 House districts. Focusing on races he thinks are actually winnable.
Smart. Like a strategic beachhead rather than an all-out assault. Concentrating resources.
It seems like a calculated, data-driven approach, but, and it's a big but, how does that square with the history of third parties in the U.S.?
Yes. The graveyard of third parties. This is where it gets really interesting, isn't it? Why do they always seem to, well, crash and burn.
It's a consistent pattern.
We see big pushes before. Teddy Roosevelt's Bull Moose Party back in 1912, Ross Perot's Reform Party in the 90s. They got huge attention, significant votes even.
Huge numbers sometimes.
But ultimately, they just couldn't sustain it. And it's not really a conspiracy, is it? It's more structural, baked into the system.
That's exactly it. The system itself creates enormous barriers. The biggest one, arguably, is winner-takes-all voting.
Explain that a bit. How does that hurt third parties specifically?
Okay, so in almost every state, for most major offices, the candidate who gets the most votes wins, period, even if they don't get over 50%. So a third party could get, say, 20% of the vote statewide, really significant chunk.
Yeah, it's a lot of people.
But they get 0 seats in Congress or the state legislature from that state. Their support doesn't translate into actual representation. It just evaporates in terms of power.
So voters might feel like their vote was wasted.
Precisely. Then you have ballot access laws. These are the hoops third parties have to jump through just to get their names listed for voters to see.
Like collecting signatures.
Exactly. Often tens of thousands of signatures, sometimes in very tight time frames. Or they need to hit a certain percentage in a previous election to qualify automatically. It's a huge resource drain, and the established parties usually don't face the same hurdles.
It sounds like an exclusive club with constantly moving velvet ropes.
That's a good way to put it. And then there's the sheer dominance of the two major parties. Democrats and Republicans have been shaping the rules for generations. They control the state legislatures where voting laws are made.
And they draw the district maps. Gerrymandering.
Right. They can draw maps that basically guarantee safe seats for themselves, squeezing out any space for competition, especially from a new party.
Making it nearly impossible for an outsider to win in many places.
And finally, you can't ignore the spoiler effect. This is maybe the most famous problem.
Where the third party doesn't win, but pulls enough votes away from one major candidate to let the other major candidate win instead.
Exactly. The classic example everyone points to is Ralph Nader and the Green Party in 2000. Many argue he took just enough votes from Al Gore in Florida to tip the election to George W. Bush.
Whether that's entirely fair or not, the perception is powerful.
It creates a huge disincentive. Voters might like the third-party candidate, but they vote strategically for a major party to block someone they dislike even more, or just because they think the third party can't actually win.
So looking back, Teddy Roosevelt's Bull Moose Party got over 27% of the vote, but it split the Republicans and helped elect Woodrow Wilson.
A huge percentage, but ultimately counterproductive for his wing of the party. Ross Perot got nearly 19% in '92. Massive support.
I remember that campaign well. Huge energy.
But the Reform Party basically fizzled out within a decade, couldn't build lasting power. The Green Party, Nader again, sporadic impact, but often just tagged as spoilers.
It's just, wow. The system seems almost designed to prevent this kind of disruption. Challenging it feels incredibly audacious.
It really underscores the scale of the challenge.
Okay, so that brings us to the massive question. Can Elon Musk actually do it? Can he, with all his resources, his fame, his sheer force of personality, break this cycle? Can the American Party succeed where others failed?
It's the multi-billion-dollar question, isn't it? And honestly, you can make a strong case either way. Let's look at the pros first, the reasons he might succeed. First, obviously, money. We mentioned the $300 million donation before. His personal wealth is astronomical. He can fund campaigns, hire top people, run ads on a scale few others could even dream of.
Money talks in politics, no doubt.
Second, his celebrity status. He's not just a CEO, he's a global icon. He commands media attention just by tweeting. That's a massive platform.
Instant name recognition, built-in audience.
Third, his tech savvy. He understands data, social media, algorithms. He might find ways to target voters, mobilize support, maybe even game the system in ways traditional campaigns haven't figured out, using tech as a force multiplier.
Right, leveraging his core expertise.
And finally, don't underestimate the discontent with the status quo. A lot of Americans really are fed up with both parties. They feel ignored, unrepresented. Musk is tapping into that genuine frustration.
That feels very real. A potential pool of voters just waiting for an alternative.
So those are powerful arguments in his favor, unique advantages.
Okay, those are compelling points. Definitely different from Perot or Nader. But the cons, the reasons this might just be another historical footnote, they seem pretty huge too.
They are, and they're fundamental. First, those systemic barriers we just discussed. Winner takes all, ballot access, gerrymandering. Musk's money can't just instantly change state laws or constitutional structures. Those are long, hard fights.
He can't just buy his way onto every ballot easily or change how votes are counted overnight.
Exactly. Second, there's his lack of traditional political experience. Building a tech company or launching rockets requires one kind of genius. Politics requires another. It's about coalition building, compromise, managing egos, navigating legislative minefields. It's a different skill set.
More messy, less engineering.
You could say that. It's about people and power dynamics in a way that engineering isn't. Third, and this is crucial right now, Trump's opposition.
Yeah, you mentioned the falling out. Trump's not happy about this.
Not at all. He's called the whole effort ridiculous. And crucially, there are reports he's threatened federal subsidies to Tesla and SpaceX. Remember, he told Fox News Musk got a little bit upset, and that wasn't appropriate. That's direct political hardball targeting Musk's core businesses.
Wow. That adds a whole other layer of conflict. A powerful enemy.
A very powerful enemy who knows how to wield political leverage. And finally, just the sheer weight of historical precedent. We keep coming back to it because it's so consistent. Third parties fail. Maybe Musk gets a few seats like he's aiming for initially. But building a national, sustainable third party, state by state, history's overwhelmingly against it.
It's like trying to swim upstream against a really, really strong current.
A very strong current, yeah.
This conversation makes me think, maybe the biggest hurdle isn't even the rules or the money. Maybe it's something deeper, more cultural, human.
How so?
Well, just the way Americans relate to political parties. It feels almost tribal sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like rooting for a sports team.
That's a really insightful point. There is a strong element of identity politics, and I mean that in the broadest sense. For many people, changing parties feels like, well, like you said, cheating on your favorite team.
It's part of who you are, how your family voted, your community.
Exactly. It's deeply ingrained. We're sort of conditioned to see the world in red versus blue. Anything else feels confusing, unstable, maybe even illegitimate to some. Breaking that binary is incredibly difficult. It's not just laws, it's psychology.
But here's where Musk might have a really interesting, maybe unique angle. He's not just selling policies. He's selling a brand.
Right.
Think about it. Tesla isn't just a car. It's a statement about the future, about tech, about being green, maybe even about status. SpaceX isn't just rockets. It's about humanity's destiny, Mars pushing boundaries.
He's a master brand builder, cultivating almost evangelical followings.
Right. So if anyone could rebrand politics, make a third way seem not just viable, but cool, aspirational of the future, maybe it's him. Can he make the America Party feel like joining the next big thing rather than just leaving your old team?
That's the core question, isn't it? Can he leverage that branding genius to overcome decades, centuries even, of ingrained political loyalty? Can he convince enough people to switch teams emotionally and intellectually?
It's a fascinating gamble.
It truly is.
So we've covered a lot of ground here. Musk's dramatic political entrance, the platform of the America Party, the deep-seated historical reasons why third parties struggle, and the unique pros and cons Musk brings to this fight. It's definitely, as you said, a political experiment playing out in real time.
And whether it succeeds or fails spectacularly.
It's going to be compelling to watch. Musk, with all his resources and star power, taking on the political establishment is quite the narrative.
Absolutely. And regardless of the outcome, whether he becomes this sort of David figure against the two-party Goliath, or just another interesting footnote, his attempt really does shine a light on the challenges and maybe the possibilities for change in American politics. It forces us to look at the system itself.
It really does. And that leaves us and you with a final thought to maybe chew on after this deep dive. Beyond Musk, beyond this specific moment, what would it actually take for any new political force, something genuinely different from the two we have, to fundamentally reshape not just Congress, but the American political identity itself? How do you break that binary in people's minds and truly expand our collective sense of political possibility? That's a big question for the future.